Alright, so welcome back to what I am no longer going to be calling the train graveyard. This is now maintenance depot. It's actually a very busy maintenance depot. I've got Kenai out there, and I've got my oldest playing with the wooden train. So any background noise, that's kind of what it is. But this is kind of a busy train shed. Anyway, yesterday on the last video, depending on when you've watched this, I was showing class 43 in blue that has been converted with the CD-ROM motor, and this is the one I was showing where I wasn't really getting anything. Moving on this, thanks for all those that had commented, saying that yes, the wiring all looked like it was correct. Things like, check the track power, check the pickups, all the more common things that I had gone through and done. Big thanks to Jason from Barnabas Junction. He pointed out something that I hadn't really thought of. I thought that I had a Bachmann's DCC decoder in at least one of these locos. Actually, I don't. They are all Hatton's decoders. One thing that he had pointed out was that the Hatton's decoders maybe aren't the best, and you do kind of get what you pay for. I think one or two other people had kind of pointed me along the same lines, but Jason specifically had noted that he has had almost the exact same problems with Hatton's DCC decoders. So, this might look a little bit different. It says Digitrax on the side, it no longer says Hatton's. I did have a Digitrax decoder hanging out, it's the DH126D. I had planned on actually putting this in one of the DHL locomotives that I had, but it actually has DCC on board, which I didn't realize at the time. So, anyway, switched out the wiring harness in this, and there's actually two things that Jason pointed me on. One was the Hatton's DCC decoder, and the Abigail playing around with her trains, and the other one was then the light on the front, which I hadn't really thought of, that yes, most of the trains are wired up with the lights on the front, which I hadn't really thought anything of, but Jason from Barnabas Junction also suggested maybe not do that. So disconnected the light and swapped out DCC chip, and it's not perfect. There is still a little bit of slipping of the gears, but for the most part it does now work. So I'm at very, very crawl slow speed, and then I can stop it, and I can kind of make it go and crawl again and then stop it, so it's got very, very fine control. Like I am starting and stopping, whereas before I just wouldn't have that kind of control. It was basically on or nothing. So again, it's still not perfect. The gears are still slipping a little bit, but it is somewhat progress. Unfortunately, the actual harness is quite different. This is the Digitrax. It's actually a 9-pin harness, so it's actually quite a bit different. I can try and find one of the Hatton's decoders. Let's move the tender over here. So it's actually quite a bit different size-wise. So unfortunately, I can't just swap out the Digitrax decoder with something like the tender off the A4 here. I would have to swap out the entire harness. But the DH126D, I think that was $20, something like that. So they're still relatively cheap, but Digitrax I've had some good luck with. Actually, all of the N-gauge stuff that I have is Digitrax. So just to double check that I'm correct here, I'm going to try and order one more of those and probably put it in something like the A4 or something like the Class 91, where I know that they should be fine, and make sure that that's correct. I'm also going to try and take out something like, this one in Swallow, try disconnecting the lights and see if it is something as simple as that. So we'll try that over here, and we'll be right back. Okay, so starting to pile bodies on top of each other so I can keep track of which chassis is which. So I did disconnect the lights on this Swallow. Unfortunately, I'm still not getting a whole lot. I can hear the motor ever so quietly. I don't know if it picks it up on the camera, but I can hear it trying to do something. That was kind of the exact same behavior I was getting with the Class 43 in BR Blue. So I'm not totally ruling out that it could still be motor, because again, this one has been swapped out with CD drive motor. This is still the old Ringfield motor, but this is actually giving me a couple of really good things. I have 3 other CD drives. I hadn't replaced them because I had done it with this one in BR Blue, and I hadn't really gotten any success with it. So now that I know that it does actually work and it does run relatively smoothly, I do still need to do a little bit of work on the gearing, but I know that they will work, and I know that they are going to run smoothly. So I think what I'm going to try and do is order one more of the Digitrax decoders. And I don't know if I'm going to bother hanging out with the Ringfield. I probably as well, just because I'm going to have to wet anyway, and I want to somewhat do this scientifically. Swap out the harnessing on, like I say, either this class A4, because I really want to see this run on my class 91. Put in the Digitrax decoder and see what happens. Because I'm pretty sure that I'm on the right lines now with those Hatton's decoders when I looked around a little bit. But again, thank you for all of those that had left a comment, that had left some suggestions. I think I had noted that, yeah, track power was clean. I do have, HO trends, my Canary, I think it's a GP38, that run just fine. I have dropper wires on every section of track. It's, for the most part, it's all Pico flex track. So every, whatever it is, 1 yard length, plus then all the small sections, I'll run this side. Every section of track has its own dropper wire. I'm not relying on the fish plates at all for the rail joiners for carrying track power. So again, thanks for those that commented. Jess, and thank you very, very much for getting me on the right lines with these decoders. Like I say, I'm going to order another one. Hopefully it will be here in a couple of days, and then I can swap it out and see. This one, the one in Swallow Black, this one did run pretty smoothly. A couple of people have pointed out that there was some noise on the motor, and I think that, yeah, just a little bit of oil actually inside there, I think, from what I had seen. Everything else is cleaned up, but I didn't have any just inside there, and I think that's where that noise is coming from. That's actually the one Ringfield that does seem to run pretty smoothly on the Hatton's DCC decoder, but it's also one of the locos that was basically brand new in box when I had gotten it. It really hadn't been used, very much like this A4. So I think the A4 problem is really going to be down to that DCC decoder. I didn't want to kind of butcher this anymore by trying to swap out the harness. Otherwise I would have put a Digitrax in there, but I think this is going to be my next test case. So hopefully I'll be back in a couple of days. Hopefully this looks a little bit less of a mess, and we'll actually have 1 or 2 trends running. Thanks for watching, and feel free to subscribe and follow along, and hopefully see some progress coming up pretty soon. Bye.